Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Maylay all day, coming back at you with another little story. I want to talk to you about Mississippi burning. Do you remember the movie Mississippi Burning about the three civil rights workers that went to Mississippi to help Black folks register to vote, and they ended up being murdered? Andrew Goodman, a 20-year-old college student from New York City; James Earl Chaney, a 21-year-old Black man; and Michael Henry Schwerner, graduate of Cornell University, a civil rights worker who had took on many projects to help the advancement of civil rights for Black folks. Schwerner and his wife were going around the country doing different projects. They had opened up a community center and helped young Black kids learn how to read. They went to Mississippi. These three went to Mississippi to investigate a church that was firebombed by the Ku Klux Klan. And while they were there, actually, Schwerner and his wife went down there. They rented out a storefront, and they decided they were going to help Black folks register to vote. They went back up north, got their plans together. These three guys and Schwerner's wife, Rita, went back to Mississippi. So when these three guys were looking at the firebombed church, on their way back, they got arrested. They got pulled over. They got pulled over by Deputy Sheriff Price. I forget his first name, but Deputy Sheriff Price. They locked them up. Later on, Price would go on to say they were speeding, and that's why he pulled them over. Well, while those guys were in jail, the Ku Klux Klan was getting a posse together. The leader at a local Klan in Philadelphia, Mississippi, they called Schwerner the ringleader, goatee, and he was marked for death. Now, this story was a story that was all over the country. This happened in 1964, June 21st, 1964. The guys were let out of jail, and they were never seen again. No one knew what happened to them. The federal government was looking for them. They put a lot of resources into it, but they could never solve the case. It was truly a black eye for the federal government and the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. It wasn't so much, obviously James Earl Chaney, the young Black man that was murdered, but the two white boys. You can't just go around killing white boys, You just can't go around killing white boys. So, later on in history, Hollywood got a hold of the story, and they made a movie called Mississippi Burning, starring Willem Dafoe, Gene Hackman, these two agents out of New York City went down to Mississippi, and they beat the street. They investigated. They did what good FBI agents do. And after long and intensive work, lo and behold, they solved the case. They found the bodies. They charged 21 men. 8 were convicted. 3 were in a hung. It came to a hung jury, a deadlock jury, and 8. No, what was it? And I think 10 were never charged. Yeah, it was 11 were charged, 10 were never charged. So when you watch the movie, it was cross burnings, and it was a good movie, man. If you haven't seen Mississippi Burning, watch it. It was a good movie. When you see people standing up and fighting for justice and the side of right, it gives you a good feeling. As a Black person, you watch these movies and it's just saddening, man, that they just don't have no compassion. In these movies, you always see the Black people depicted as docile and subservient and yes, a boss. And the white man still just savagely kill them, like no compassion. No human empathy. Just you Black some of them a bitch and kill them. Hang them, beat them, just brutalize them. So, I'm thumbing through YouTube. I've been doing a lot of research, looking up events, historical events, because my thing, what I'm on right now is, is a lot of folks talking that don't vote mess, man. And folks that are full of racism and on the side of white supremacy, that's what they want too. They don't want us voting either, because they know laws are how they can enforce the oppression of Black folks to keep you down. It's hard enough in life to get to the top, dealing with the elites. But then you throw in other races. White folks have a sense of entitlement, some of them. They feel they are entitled to a good life because they're white, not because they're smart or they're willing to work hard, which I'm sure they're willing to do, but they feel as if before you can get it, I'm supposed to get it because I'm white. And that's crazy. You're entitled to what you earn. You deserve what you work for. You don't deserve something because you were born. There ain't I don't care who you are, aside from maybe your parents or maybe a rich friend, ain't nobody out here waiting to ingratiate and enrich your life with money and cars and clothes and jewels and just to see you living good. There's a lot of people have that thing in their head that their life is going to be something and they're not going to work for it. And that's not the way life is. But in the movie, what was depicted was anything further from the truth. Those FBI agents, they didn't solve the case. They didn't go down there and beat the streets. What they did was unlawful. And at the same time, crazy. And they did that back then. And so today, the FBI and law enforcement agencies, they're not going to waste their time to set someone like me up. And I'm not breaking the law. I'm not causing any problems. You'll have folks say, I ain't do nothing. They set me up. This is bullshit. Now, they might set you up, but the only reason they're going to set you up is because you're too smooth at what you do. You are, in fact, doing what they accuse you of doing. They just can't catch you. So they'll set you up. Because the crime you're committing, they're trying to stop it. That's their job. You know, you would almost think that laws are living, breathing entities, the way these people will kill, break laws, do all type of things to enforce words on paper. Because these actions, these laws, these things that people do when they break law, they hurt people. They hurt good people. The law is set up to defend the weak, the defenseless, those that don't have the courage to fight for their rights. That's what the law was supposed to do. And when you think about it, that's an honorable thing. Shouldn't no one be able to pull you out your car, drag you to a field, beat the hell out you, put a rope around your neck and choke you to death, all because the color of your skin, or because you want to be treated fairly. You want to be afforded the rights that everyone's living under. So let me tell you what the FBI did, man. In 1964, the FBI had a man that was in the mafia. And this man was a rat. He was a snitch. He was a mafioso. And he was a bad mofo. Killed over 20 people. Did what he wanted to do. And because he was selling out the mafia, he played both sides of the fence beautifully. And so the FBI went and got this man, took him to Mississippi. They had an idea of who was in the Klan and who would have some knowledge of these missing people. And so the FBI brought him to Mississippi and they turned him loose on these Klansmen. And that man was an Italian man. And his name was Greg Scarpa, Jr. I'm going to show you a picture of Greg Scarpa. That's Greg Scarpa. Try to get you a different picture of him. That's Greg Scarpa. They took Greg Scarpa down to Mississippi. And there was a guy, his last name was Bird. He owned a TV shop. Tell you how when things are too good to be true, you got to have a third eye and watch your back. Greg Scarpa went to the TV shop and purchased a TV and told the man, I'm from Chicago. I'm looking for a place to stay. I need a TV. Paid for the TV and told the guy, I'll come back before closing and pick it up after, I get my things in order. So, sure as to his word, Greg Scarpa came back to the TV shop at 9 o'clock, right before closing time. Came in, talked to Mr. Bird, said, can you help me out? Can you put the TV in the car? Because I got a bad back and, I don't want to fight with this thing. So he said, no problem, sir. Picked up the TV, took it outside. Scarpa opened the back door of his car. The guy put the TV in the car, split it across the seat, and Scarpa pushed him in the car, put a gun in his rib and told him, don't you fucking move. An FBI agent sat up in the front seat and they took off. Now, in the movie Mississippi Burning, they depicted this happening, but they never told you about Greg Scarpa. Greg Scarpa's never been mentioned in this. Top secret. Your boy Maylay all day got it, though. I ain't had to dig too hard, but I had to dig a little bit to get it. Greg Scarpa. They took this man to a house. Another picture of Greg Scarpa. This is more what he looked like around the time. They took this man, they drove hours away. They took him in a safe house. Took the man into a kitchen, taped him to a kitchen chair. Duct taped him to a kitchen chair. FBI agents went outside, windows open, listening. And Greg Scarpa proceeded to beat the living shit out of that man. And in between blows, he'd interrogate him. And Bird told him what happened. Scarpa went outside. He said, yeah, I got him to talk. FBI said, he's lying. Scarpa said, nah, he's not lying. He's lying. Go back in there and tune him up some more. Scarpa went back in, beat him some more. Bird's insisting, that's the truth, that's the truth. Scarpa went back outside and said, man, this guy ain't lying, man. No way, I'm kicking his ass. He said, he's lying. Scarpa got pissed off. You know what he did? He went back in. He cocked the hammer back on a pistol, pulled the man's pants down, took a razor blade, put a few cuts by his dick and balls, and told him, I'm going to blow your fucking head off, and I'm going to cut your fucking dick off. Before I blow your head off, I'm going to cut your dick off, and then I'm going to blow your fucking head off. By now, the man's eyes swollen, lip busted, his ass has been kicked. He finally starts to confess. He tells him, the guys, the Sheriff Price, Billy Price, ain't that? There's always a Billy. Always a Billy somewhere around there. When at the Klan doing what they do, there's always a Billy. Billy Price, Deputy Sheriff Billy Price, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Pulled them boys over, charged them with speeding, and arrested all three of them. Took them to the jail cell. And while they was in jail, they got up a posse. A preacher man was the ringleader. They got the posse together. And then they let him out of jail at night. Trying to get the picture back up of the FBI, of the wanted poster. They let him out of jail. Those are all the men that were in Mississippi, the agents that all participated on the case. Let him out of jail. The sheriff followed him, Billy Price, and 2 carloads of Klansmen. Followed them boys. A high-speed chase ensued. But eventually they got the best of him. They pulled him over and took him to a property. Some guy by the last name of Burridge, the richest man in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Took him on his property, quickly shot all 3 of them in the head, burned the car, and buried the bodies in a mound dam. So, you know, the mound dam holding this water back, they would never be able to dig there. And so they would never find them. Boy, them country boys are smart, man. They country dumb, man, but they smart as hell. City slickers will never think like a country boy. Well, Billy Price told everything. They arrested the people. They were never charged with murder because the local, at the time, there was no civil rights laws of murder. You couldn't murder someone and be violating their civil rights because there was no such thing. And that's why that happening was an important time in American history for the future. Those 3 guys died martyrs because of their death. Civil rights laws were made, and then you could civilly You could violate someone's civil rights by murdering them, and you could be charged with that. So those guys were never charged with murder because the local government never charged them. That Bird dude, he told the story. He was kidnapped by the FBI. No one believed him. Said it was horse shit what he was saying. The FBI hired a mafia killer to kidnap, beat to a bloody pulp a man who they knew committed a crime. So when you see people out here and I was set up, I was framed, and people think the government won't do that. Oh yes, the government will do that. Now you have to ask yourself. We've heard many people say it. 2 wrongs don't make a right. But in this scenario, I gotta disagree. Them people killed them people. The FBI couldn't solve the case by doing right. They solved the case by doing wrong. And I gotta say, in this case, I believe 2 wrongs made a right. They made a right. So when you hear about the government, set this one up, them did this, them did that, you got to ask yourself, is the government going to break the law to set someone up that ain't breaking the law? Possibly, if they want you bad enough. You can never say never about anything. But in this case, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did it. Because if they hadn't done it, the senator in the United States Senate said, oh, them boys ain't missing. They just hiding. This is a publicity stunt to draw attention to the good peoples of Philadelphia, Mississippi. This is just a publicity stunt. That's all it is. Now you find people going back to your homes, settle down. There's nothing to see here. These are good fine folk here in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Yeah, good fine folk that'll pull your ass out your car, lock you up in jail, and then blow your brains out. It's a sad, 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 sad thing, man. And then you look at what's going on in Chicago or Jacksonville. These kids got guns and they teenagers. And it's a terrible thing. These black kids, it is literally a war zone. Because they're not just killing each other. They're not just killing gang members. Innocent bystanders, little kids, babies, senior citizens are catching stray bullets and they're getting killed. They said in Chicago, the worst place for you to go is to a goddamn gas station. Because at gas stations, that's where a lot of these thugs are running into each other. And they shooting it out. They bought that life. And when they let that trigger fly, the lead start flying and it ain't got no name on it. You catch one in the head, pow, you dead. They ain't just killing each other. Innocent people are losing their life. And it's just senseless violence. Black folks, especially in the South, humble, good peoples, hard workers, family men, family women, just want a better life. Just don't want to work themselves to the bone anymore. And if they have to, they want to get something out of it. Scratch, claw, struggle, strive to keep the dream alive. And you fast forward to 2021, and we just in these streets acting a stone cold ass. Over blocks and corners that they don't even own. Ain't making a dime on the old block. Ain't making a dime on 63rd. But they killing over it. FBG Duck got shot 15 times in the Rodeo Drive, the Gold Coast of Chicago. And now the FBI done picked that case up because tourists know they not safe. It's not safe to come to Chicago. And that's hurting their money. So now the FBI is involved a year later. Took them a whole year. But they're going to solve that FBG Duck case. Somebody's going to get out of a drug charge. Somebody's going to talk. Somebody's going to talk. Somebody's going to answer for the murder of FBG Duck. I guarantee you that. These black kids coming up in the inner city, they not safe traveling to school. It's a damn shame for a kid to go to school. He got to ride a Port Authority public transportation bus. Ain't no school bus. You got to go to a bus stop somewhere in the city and risk somebody pulling up on you and killing you, shooting you at the bus stop because you're not from their neighborhood. You will kill somebody that look like you, the same color as you, and you killing them for that reason. You're not killing the person that got you living in slum, terrible conditions. You're not going to go kill the landlord because he won't fix nothing. You can go kill somebody because they look like you. And they living in the same conditions you living under. Because if they wasn't, you wouldn't be around them. Everybody's in these cities struggling, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. It's sad, man. It's sad that we killing our own people. The Ku Klux Klan ain't got to kill nobody no more. They just sit back and watch. These niggas killing each other for nothing. And they doing it better than we was doing it. They getting away with it. King Von rumored to have 7 murders under his belt. But yet he's taking a photo shoot for Vogue or this rap magazine or MTV and having album release parties and all that. And this man's a stone cold killer. He rumored to kill that girl. That girl, Gakira Kai Barnes, was an actual assassin. They said she had 17 bodies under her belt. She said, I won't date nobody unless they done killed 3 people. What type of bullshit is that? What type of bullshit is that? I'm going to show you a picture of the guys. There they are. 8 of the 21 are men arrested by the FBI in Mississippi, December 4th, 1964. Earl Aiken, top left corner. Jimmy Snowden. There's always a Billy and a Jimmy. And I said Billy. Cecil Price. That boy in the bottom corner, that's Billy. Look at Billy. Cockeyed son of a bitch. Cockeyed son of a bitch. Speaking of son of a bitch, reminds me of the movie Smokey and the Bandit, starring Burt Reynolds, Jackie Gleason. Jackie Gleason was the sheriff. He's the Smokey. And his son, the bandit, played by Burt Reynolds, met a girl who was supposed to marry the sheriff's son. And she got in the car with the bandit. And so the sheriff and his son was chasing the bandit. And his son was a complete asshole, just a buffoon. And he was doing something dumb in the movie, and the sheriff looked at him and he said, one of the funniest lines in the history of movies. Try my best, but this is what the man said. Funny as hell. He said, boy, when I get home, I'm punching your mama square in the mouth. Ain't no way you come from my loins. Oh, man. One of the funniest lines in the movie ever. Boy, when I get home, I'm punching your mama square in the mouth. Ain't no way you come from my loins. Yeah, man. Deputy Sheriff Cecil Price, third from the left on the top, and then Sheriff Lawrence Rainey. Olin Barrage down on the left here. That's the man where the bodies was buried on his property. On the bottom, the second from the left, that's B.L. Aiken. That's the pastor. That's the pastor who sits up and talks about lineage and the history of these good, fine white folk people. All we want is our God-given right to peace and prosperity. We deserve that. That's given from God. Yeah. B.L. Aiken, Jimmy Lee Townsend, and the last little boy there with the Route 66 shirt on and the cockeyed blind son of a bitch, Billy Wayne Posey. When you look at these boys, they was all there, had they torches, they motherfucking hoods on. Murderers, killers, racists, white supremacists. That's what they look like. You see them in the movie, they hire these actors, but these here boys are real thing. They're the real thing. They string your black ass up and have no mercy. We gonna end your life tonight, boy. They get real diabolical. Chain you by your feet, your ankles, chain you by your wrists. And tie the one to your chain, the one bumper, and the one to your arms to another bumper, and get in the car and hit the gas and pull your body apart. That's called quarter. That's called quarter. They pull you into quarters. Yeah. They I don't know what it is, man, about them folk, man. They always want to cut a black man Johnson off. Cut it off. Cut a dick off. They're jealous. I don't know what it is. But the movie Mississippi Burning, that's not what happened. The FBI hired an Italian mafia hitman, Greg Scarpa, to go to Mississippi, kidnap, beat up within an inch of that man's life to find out what happened to those 3 civil rights workers. And in the government files, you'll see no mention. But in the top secret files, I'm sure somewhere they mention Greg Scarpa's name. They love history. The white man loves history. And they always try to tell it, but keep it secret, but they let the real ones know. They know what they really know. All black folks ain't come over here on no goddamn boat. Ain't no way. Every black person wasn't a slave. Every black person wasn't no slave. They was bringing slaves over here from Africa and selling them down south because the North wasn't using slaves. Yeah. The North wasn't using slaves. You hear people when they Geechee, that's Native American. They turn Native American Indian. And they make you think, whoa, 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 woo, 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 like long-haired red man. Nah, black folks were already here. Black folks was already here. People was getting on boats and sailing around the world long time before Christopher Columbus. Columbus discovered the Americas for the white folks. They ain't the only people on earth. When they tell history, they tell it from their perspective. The first time in their history. They don't know what black folks was doing. They don't care. They're not going to tell no black folk history. We don't come from no goddamn Africa. Some roots trace back to there, but not all. Not all. I got my grandfather's grandfather. So that would be my great-great-grandfather. My great-great-grandfather. He fought in the Civil War. Catlin. William James Catlin fought in the Civil War. My grandfather. He wasn't no slave. I ain't gonna get no reparations. My family don't trace back to no slavery. From what I know, what my family tell me, we come from what they glorified it. We come from the West Indies, my people. A lot of my older aunts, they got green eyes. You know? Light skin, green eyes. Shit like that. We was the people that matriculated from Puerto Rico, and I mean, I ain't no Puerto Rican, but you know, Dominican Republic and Trinidad, Tobago, Cuba, and you know what I mean, the West Indies, Jamaica. That's what the West Indies are. You know, really, we don't have to rattle down to what part, but we from there. We ain't from no slave and from no plantation. Not my people. We wasn't no yes and bows and all that shit. I don't come from that. I don't know what you come from, but I don't come from that. These white folks will try to make you think that. This an arrogant, disrespectful, vicious type people. And all white folks ain't that. But the ones that are, man, big, thick cement head, some of bitches. It's human beings, man. I don't have no hatred for white people like that to wish them all dead because they white. There's some white folks I can't stand. And there's some white folks I got love for. They good folks. Love them. For real. Good people. They not racist. You know, you got some black folks want to blame the white man for everything. White man tell you smoke weed all day. Don't look for no job. Sell drugs all day. White man ain't tell you do that. Kill your fellow black man. Sit up in jail 20, 30, 40 years. Knowing goddamn well you guilty of everything you've been charged of. Niggas out here making songs. I'm gonna ball till I fall. I'm gonna ball till I fall. And then when you fall, you want to fucking cry. Like 10 Toes Down tell you, stay out of that white man's prison. Stay your black ass, stay out of that white man's prison. You ain't got to go there. Mind your business. Stay legit. You know, you can still run into him. You can still run into a devil, a demon. But odds are you won't. If you're doing the right things. You know? I've been pulled over by the police several times. And, you know, one time I encountered an officer called me nigga and did all that. I just fucked me up. And said, yeah, you no good nigga. I said, damn, this shit crazy. But I wouldn't provoke him. I knew better. Ego and pride will get you killed. Is it worth ego and pride to lose your life over an incident you'll forget? You know, you say your ego and pride, you want to buck up, but actually, you know, I played the fuck out of him. I fooled his ass. Fooled his motherfucking ass. So I'm here today talking to you. But the movie Mississippi Burning, if any of y'all saw it, 80% of it's a whole lie. The FBI hired Greg Scarpa. And a little bit of background on Greg Scarpa. Greg Scarpa was a mafia man. He killed over 20 people. He was in the Colombo family. He was married. He had 2 kids. He left his wife for what was rumored to be just a beautiful 17-year-old girl. He later married her. In the 80s, Greg Scarpa had some health problems. And he ended up getting a blood transfusion and he caught AIDS. He took blood. They were going to give him blood. And he said, no. So he got blood from, you know, other Italians. He brought people in that matched. And one of the guys had HIV. And he caught it. And he eventually died from complications of AIDS. Greg Scarpa. You know what I mean? When you look at people, you never know what their story is. I see that. You see that watch he got on? Look at that. That look like a lady's watch. A little teeny tiny face. That thing iced out. That's in the 80s. So you know that shit. He was doing it. That dude was a stone cold killer. There he is at his wedding, at his daughter's wedding. That's Greg Scarpa right here. I think he was sick with AIDS in this picture. And that's his daughter, son-in-law. That's his second wife. That's the infamous Linda. Linda knew he was a mafia man, a killer, and she loved the life. She loved the life. She actually went with him to Mississippi. She went shopping while he was out tuning that boy up. Tuned him up, Mr. Bird. Yeah, man. Greg Scarpa from the Colombo family. And after he did that for the FBI, Greg Scarpa had a get out of jail free card. And he did a lot. I mean, he murdered, he stole, he was a Shylock. What he would do is he would give his guys and his crew $10,000. And he'd tell them, you owe me $100 a week on this. And then the Shylocks would go out and loan the money out. And they'd tell the other person, you owe me $400 a week on that money. After they loan money out, you owe me $400 a week till you pay it off. If I borrow $1,000 off you, if I can't give you $1,400 back in the first week, it just, the bill keeps going and going and going and going, and they know. So, you know, they'll tune your ass up, beat you, kill you, or try to get hooks in your business, you know. But the Shylock would make $300 a week and give Scarpa his $100 a week. And he put that money out on the street, man. Them guys, they had the numbers rackets, gambling, prostitution. They getting money out here, man. I mean, they really getting money out here. Greg Scarpa went down there, kidnapped a man, beat the brakes off of him. There he is. Got that Ron Jeremy 1970 porno man mustache. They said this guy was vicious. 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 But it was him that solved the case of Mississippi Burning. So it's Maylay all day, man. I just thought that was an interesting story, man. I wanted to bring that to y'all. I hope y'all enjoy it. Hit the like button. Share this video. Just a little something, man. Maylay all day TV. Bringing you the difference, man. Bringing you that different stuff, man. Adios, amigos.